Oh, well, I take my hat off to Chavez Sr. He's a legend in the sport of boxing. He's one of the guys that opened up the door for myself.
Is that a motivation for you to knock him out so that he says, I don't want to do this anymore, so you could be the one to say you got Jake Paul out of fighting?
Yes. So that's, I'm still thinking that I'm better than Jake Paul.
Just showed up and let his balls hang and committed to it and just let his hands go. But even at his best, he didn't let his hands go a whole lot. But if he did, he could win this fight.
Floyd Mayweather has responded to the Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight by calling Julio a legend. However, Floyd pointed out that Julio is much older now and past his prime. As for Jake Paul, Mayweather still doesn't view him as a real boxer and continues to refer to him as just a YouTuber trying to fight. Floyd's words show respect for Julio, but clear questions about Jake's legitimacy.
If you like this, please subscribe Punch Vista and click the bell icon for more latest and interesting videos.
Oh, well, I take my hat off to Chavez Sr. He's a legend in the sport of boxing. He's one of the guys that opened up the door for myself. But, of course, I'm still in tip-top condition. And he's a lot older now, Even when we was younger, that would have been a great matchup. But you just you never know. I heard that he posted us and talked about us doing a fight. But I'd be in a no-win situation if I did that.
The boxing world lives on what-ifs and legendary matchups across generations. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. argues with confidence, saying he would have beaten Floyd Mayweather in his prime. It isn't just a bold statement, it echoes the pride of a fighter raised in a household of winners. Chavez Jr. thinks that had the timing been right and age on his side, the outcome of a fight with Mayweather would have leaned in his favor, while he respects Floyd's undefeated record. Chavez Jr. sees himself as the more aggressive and naturally skilled fighter during his peak, feeling that such a matchup would have gone very differently than fans might expect today. Respected voices in the sport are backing Julio with strong belief.
So I'm here with Julio Cesar Chavez, and I have to ask the question, who would win in their prime? Julio Cesar Chavez versus Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Punto final, en su punto prime. Creo que hubiera sido una pelea difícil, complicada. Yo creo que en 140 libras, 135 libras, definitivamente le hubiera ganado yo. Le hubiera ganado, ¿por qué? Porque ese era mi peso. Yo nunca pude marcar 147 libras. Peleé por el campeonato, pero no era mi peso, ¿me entiendes? Creo que en 135, 140 le hubiera ganado a Mayweather. Acuérdate que yo peleé con su tío y su tío fue el que lo enseñó, así que pues yo creo que yo le hubiera ganado.
Robert Garcia, among other things, points to Julio's experience, size, and boxing IQ as factors that give him a definitive edge over Jake Paul. Unlike the influencers or part-time athletes Jake has previously faced, Julio has been in real fights. He has dealt with blood, pain, and pressure in ways Jake hasn't. Experts think that this fight won't need fancy tactics. Julio just needs to show up in shape, and his fundamentals will carry him through.
I love Chavez.
I fucking love that dude. He's cool as fuck. I love that dude.
He's gonna win.
Okay, if he wins, what does it say?
Nothing. Chavez is gonna win.
What does that say if he beats Jake Paul?
Not much. Just a good win. A lot of millions of dollars, and then maybe do a rematch, which is bad.
Jake Paul has carefully built his boxing brand with calculated risk, from former MMA fighters to debuting boxes. His decisions were strategic, but now the script changes. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. isn't a stepping stone. He's a test, a boxer with professional experience and championship DNA. If Julio comes in determined and physically prepared, Jake might find himself out of his depth for the first time.
I like it. He was a little listless. He can get listless. But he's big. He's schooled in boxing.
It just does nothing for me.
Yeah, it is a challenge though. It's a legit challenge, right? He's probably
he got his ass whooped. He got his ass whooped by Anderson Silva. Jake's already beat Anderson Silva, so it's like
if he shows up for the fight, if he's really training, he's fairly tough. How old is he now?
39.
Oh wow.
He's 40.
Oh wow.
I don't think that one's gonna get big numbers. It's just like, all right, it's not a good next step. It's almost like he's going backwards.
But
now.
wouldn't you say it's a good challenge for him?
No,
he's going to beat him.
Yes. No, it's not a good challenge because he already got his ass whooped by Anderson. You know, it doesn't do much. I guess it keeps Jake active, and it's a boxer.
Yeah.
But the boxing, you're still gonna get validation from the boxing community, which is what he wants. It keeps him busy, I guess. So that's
Oscar de la Hoya has seen hundreds of champions rise and fall, and his take on this fight comes with weight. He has praised Julio's present discipline and focus during training. According to de la Hoya, this isn't a retired boxer cashing in. This is a fighter planning for war. He sees a narrative shaping where Jake finally gets pushed in a way he hasn't before. De la Hoya's excitement isn't just about business, it's personal.
The expectations
A lot of
and
pressure.
then, you know, the pressure, and you know, he got involved with drugs and this and that, and you know, he seems like he's doing better and he's doing good, and I've seen him train lately. I've talked to the father, and he says, look, if my son shows up to the ring the way I've seen him in the last few months, I think he said like last 6-7 months, he goes, yeah, he's gonna knock out Jake Paul.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, I'm sure a lot of people would love to watch that and see that. So yeah, don't miss the fight.
Yeah.
June 28th. It's gonna be crazy. No, it is. I mean, because Jake Paul actually has, it's not that he has something to prove, but he actually can prove something here. Chavez Jr. went the distance with Canelo, right? In Canelo's prime. And so imagine if Jake Paul like knocks out Chavez Jr., then what?
Julio walks into the ring with the attitude of someone who knows his worth. He doesn't see Jake Paul as a real threat, just another name trying to grab attention off boxing's heritage. His confidence isn't bravado. It's built from years spent training at top levels, sparring with champions, and carrying the name of a boxing icon with multiple world title fights on his resume. He starts this fight believing not in possibility, but in inevitability while the hype builds.
It's your first fight in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
When do you want to come back? Who do you want to fight?
Oh man, I don't care, you know. Jake Paul?
You want Jake Paul next?
Yes, why not?
If he wins tonight?
Yes, I want.
You think you could beat him?
I'm better fighter than these opponents, so that's for sure.
Jeff Mayweather adds caution to the table. He doesn't dismiss Julio's past successes, but raises a fair point. Timing matters. Julio hasn't fought consistently in years, and age finally catches up with everyone. From Jeff's view, this fight favors Jake more than it looks. It's a calculated risk by Jake's team, who know the value of beating a former winner, even one past his peak.
Well, back down and all that kind of stuff, but is this, you know, another name that just, like I said, gives the detractors more feel for their fire? Does this help Jake at all?
I don't think it's really gonna help him that much. I mean, it will in the sense that he's fought a legitimate fighter that actually was
a
professional fighter and a world champion. But to get him after a 5-year layoff and him being inactive is almost just like fighting Mike Tyson.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the same thing. It's like an older guy past his prime who hasn't fought in a long time. You know, I guess he doesn't have an MMA career behind him, so maybe that's a good thing, but it's a lot of the same thing that people have always complained about.
But I think this is a fight that Jake can win.
Jake Paul isn't shy about his goals. He wants more than fame, he wants respect as a real boxer by targeting known names like Julio. Even past their prime, he's building a narrative of progression. Every fight adds to a growing resume that he thinks proves his seriousness. He sees himself not as a YouTuber dabbling in sports, but as a possible title contender.
Got a former champion sitting over here to the left with a big name. Does this signal to the boxing world that you're looking to get back on that championship path, the pursuit of a world title?
Yeah, look, I always said it. I'm going to fight really tough people, and I'm going to fight big money fights. You know, this is prize fighting. And so I'm giving the fans what they want with every single fight, taking on tougher opponents, and this is just that.
I can't help but notice it's a cruiserweight fight. The co-main event is a cruiserweight world title. If you look just to your right, there are two belts sitting there on the stage. Is it at all in your mind, if you beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., that a matchup with that man, Zurdo Ramirez, might not be far behind?
Yeah, 100%, man. This is what I came here to do, is become world champion and to create one of the greatest sports stories the world has ever seen. Going from Disney Channel to YouTube to world champion in 6 to 7 years, that's the most relatable and best sports story that any kid can get behind, and that's what I'm here to do, is inspire the next generation and do what no one's ever done before in the world's hardest sport, which is boxing.
You faced some hostile environments in the past, the Nate Diaz fight being one of them, but this might be the most hostile you've walked into. Southern California, 2 Mexicans on the card. What do you think about fighting in this type of atmosphere?
Man, the Mexicans love me, bro. Like, I'm stepping into my home environment. They love me more than they love this guy. You know, Mexico doesn't even claim him, so that's just the way it is. And I love my Mexican fans, and they've always been rocking with me since day one. And I'm gonna show him who the real Mexican warrior.
Despite his efforts, Jake Paul remains a controversial figure. Critics argue that his entire career is built on illusion, carefully picked opponents, marketing over merit, and more spectacle than content. To them, the Julio fight is just another example of style over substance. They say it's less about proving skill and more about preserving image. Numbers don't lie. No matter how much abuse surrounds Jake Paul, people still watch. Whether it's admiration or hate, he draws attention. This fight with Julio has all the ingredients for a financial success, drama, legacy, and the chance for a real knockout. Viewers aren't just tuning in for sport, they want to see a plot reach its climax. For Jake Hutters, this is the moment they hope he gets revealed.
Final What's That Smell goes to Jake friggin' Paul. Yes, as he's gearing up for his upcoming fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., a guy that can't win a fight, hasn't won a fight in the last 10 years. The guy's been an absolute joke. Well, Jake comes out and says, hey, listen, I'm getting in the ring with a champion at one point. I'm getting in the ring with a guy that was on top of the world at one point. All Jake Paul is selling is at one point, because Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. hasn't won in more than 10 years of those points. What are you trying to sell? Here's what I think he's trying to sell. He's trying to sell a fight that means nothing. Jake Paul, he's great on the HBO special thing, the documentary that he has, The Polls. He's great at everything he touches when it comes to marketing. Stop trying to sell something that doesn't exist. You will never get into a ring with a real boxer, because if you do, you're going to get your ass whipped.
That's it for today's movie. Stay tuned until next.